Welcome to the Inspirational Corner with me, your host, Stylisha Bolton. As we encourage you here to live bold, live loud, and live authentically without apology. And if this is your first time listening in, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel so you won't miss out on any new episodes. As well, you can follow us on Spotify and other platforms that streaming podcasts so you won't miss out on any new episodes. So let's get into today's topic. Today I want to talk about doing less and living more. And before I fully dive into today's topic, I know it's been about maybe 2 weeks since I put out a podcast, but I just want to say I celebrated my birthday last week, which was such a turning point for me. I really feel different at this stage in my life. And one thing that I reflected on was, how do I want my life to look? I'm truly at a point in my life where I don't want to waste a lot of time. I really want to reflect on each age that I turn, and I really want to live more of my life and enjoy more of my life. And so that's how this subject kind of came about. Do less and live more. And I think in our American society, we're doing the opposite. We're living less and we're doing more. We're constantly trying to strive to be more, do more, get more, and accomplish more things. And that is not making us happy. It's really making us feel miserable. And I think after spending a year in quarantine due to the pandemic, and the pandemic is still going on, a lot of things have shifted and changed due to a lot of us that are getting vaccinated and everything, and a lot of states are lifting the rules and restrictions for us. However, I think this is the perfect time that we just don't dive back into the old life, because it's so easy to try to jump back into the old life before pre-pandemic, just getting back to just being all over the place. And I know a lot of us have a lot of summer vacations that we've planned. I know when I went to TJ Maxx, I seen no suitcases. I'm like, oh my God, TJ Maxx is like my favorite store. And it's like, where are the suitcases? And I just laugh because people are really serious about not wasting any time. And that's a great thing. But for me, I know with summer making its headway, and summer is here because June 21st, we had our first day of summer, and summer is here. Summer is appearing, and we have our better weather, our longer days. So I just felt like this was the perfect time to kind of slow down, kind of recalibrate some things in my life, kind of soak in solitude, and really get focused on the things that I want to do, and not so serious, but just at a point of, what do I want to do? How do I want to go into my new year, after, my birthday? And how do I want to create a life of longevity? And just, what do I want to do to create a different new life? Because I truly, like I said before, I truly feel like a new woman. I really do. At this age and stage in my life, I don't feel like the same woman I was at the beginning of January, and where I'm at now. And definitely in the last couple of months, there has been so many changes and ebbs and flows of life that has gotten me to this point. So I just feel like, instead of rushing through each day, that summer is a great reminder for us to slow down and revel in the moments. And because we are shifting, like I said before, into the longer days, and the weather is getting a lot better. I know where I live, it rains, during the summer months. It get really hot, but it rains, and the rain makes it hotter. And so I just wanted to really capitalize on the summer months. And I really believe, to me, that the summer is a time where we don't embrace as much. And I can even say with me, I think for me, I didn't really realize how beautiful summer was and how great summer was, and knowing that I just got the revelation to me this year that summer is such a time to just slow down and just be at peace with where you at and just enjoy and observe your life. Just kind of salter, just kind of move slow. And I've been telling myself lately, this has been a new thing for me. I've been telling myself to slow down, slow down. Even me talking on a podcast, it's been a year. Can't believe next year be 2 years since the inspirational podcast was created. And, I always have to tell myself, slow down when I'm talking, slow down. So you all can kind of understand. I'm from up north, originally from Detroit, Michigan, so I talk real quick. Maybe that's a northern thing, but I'm teaching myself to kind of slow down and just dwell in the moments and make sure that I'm enjoying every moment. And so to me, doing less and living more is the best way to enhance your fun and your relaxation. And for me, it's about reprioritizing my schedule for rest and relaxation. And there was a time in my life where I would just rush through everything. Summer would come and the kids are out of school because I work in education. So the kids are out of school. I'm excited. I get my break, and I get to travel, visit family, maybe go somewhere else. And I said, you know what, this year was going to be a little bit different for me due to last year. Like I said before, we had to deal with the pandemic and everything that was going on. We wasn't able to go nowhere. We weren't able to travel. And, people were disgusted. They were frustrated. But at the same time, it taught us some things about our own personal selves, about our relationships that we had with our family, friends, and even with our children. And I just think last year was, and even now, it was such a time of reflection. And as the restrictions are lifting, I don't want to waste this precious time of enjoyment this summer, because summer, when you're just on autopilot and checking off your list of places to go, things to do, the summer ends and you're right back into fall, and then it's doing again. And I don't want that type of lifestyle anymore. I think for me, I gave up that lifestyle maybe a year before the pandemic, because in 2019, when I created the podcast, I told myself I needed to live a different life. I was exhausted, just overwhelmed, and I was just tired of the life that I was constantly living, focused on money, worried about money, just a whole bunch of things that was going on in my personal life. And I knew in 2019 that I needed to make a change. And I wanted to take a step back and take some time away and figure out, what do I need to do differently in my life, and what new rules or new patterns that I needed to have in my life to create a different outcome. And that was important to me in 2019. So I feel like I had got a little head start before 2020 came. And when 2020 came, it was just like a halt period for everybody. So I'm very appreciative of, my journey. And, basically for me, learning to slow down, do less, live more, truly comes from my international lifestyle, living abroad when I was in the military. I missed that part of my life so much because it taught me some things, but not only missing it, I am still learning to apply those things to my life now, living back in America, and just realizing I need to slow down. Life is meant to be enjoyed. I know when I was living in Italy, there was no rush to eat. You sat at a table for 3 hours. The meals took their time to come. The 4-course meals that we would have during lunch and dinner, it was like an event. And I think that because of the shift and the changes that's going on even here in America, that this is the time that we make life an event, that we just roll out the red carpet every time we get a chance. Every time that we go out to the grocery store, we get in our car or we travel or whatever we're doing, even in our local area, that we make it like a red carpet event, because life is truly not a dress rehearsal. I don't believe in the concept of life is short. I don't believe life is short. I believe life is deep. But I believe that when we say life is short, it's because we're living on the surface and we're living a mediocre life. But when you start diving deep into the inner things within yourself and working on some things within yourself, and when you start diving deeper into yourself and not putting any limits on yourself, and understanding that everything within us, within our heart, mind, body, and soul is all about, and spirit is just limitless. And when we just let go of the limits, we're going to realize how deep life is, how beautiful. Life has so many dimensions and layers. And my thing was to get back to a life of simplicity, a life of slowness. I do believe in this slow movement, sustainability for fashion and all that. I think I've always been that way. And going abroad and living abroad kind of helped me realize that that was the type of lifestyle that really spoke to me, and I felt like I belonged when I was living internationally, when I was living in Europe, when I was living in Sicily and Iceland, because things were different for me. I just felt at home and I felt at peace, and I feel at peace in being back in the States, but it's different. I have to, like I said before, apply those things that I learned abroad, and I have to constantly go back to my international living here, because sometimes in America, things are forced upon you, or just, this doing mentality can sometimes be, forced on you. And I don't want to say forced, but I can easily fall into it. That's the best way to say that. I can easily fall into the doing. And I know for me, I truly believe that the beginning of summer is about tapping into that energy of just being in a mode of doing nothing and just sitting and just slowing down, like I've been saying before. And I'm truly excited about this new journey in my life of slowing down. It's really teaching me some things. I was doing something yesterday and I was kind of moving a little bit too fast, and I had to tell myself, slow down. And as hot as it is outside, or hot, the weather and stuff, I realized when I slowed down, I became cooler. And I became aware of how I was moving. Instead of moving so fast, then I'm like, oh, where are my keys at? Where this at? What's going on? And sometimes things will come up in our lives where it'll throw us off. I know for me, we'll get out of our comfort zone, and we'll feel a little sporadic or hyped up, or anxious and filled with anxiety. I know that happens to me a lot. Things happen that's out of my norm, things in life as usual that I can't control. And so I feel like I've been put in a cannon and been launched off, and like, what is going on? How did I end up in this place when I was just in that place? And I just believe life is funny and fun in that way, because each trying or uncomfortable moment truly is meant to get us to another dimension and level in our lives. And I think about it, even my transition of the last month and a half, some things were going on, and I'm like, oh my God, and you don't think you're going to get through those things. And then I got over those things, and it was like where I'm at now, I'm like, oh, I feel like a different woman. I feel like I'm even closer to the path that I wanted to be on, and that's the funny thing about life. And when we do less, we can really understand life a little bit more. we can rest a lot more, we can relax a lot more, and truly have a little bit more fun. And I know for me, I've truly wanted to implement fun, a lot more fun in my life. I was just sitting here and thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I don't know how to relax. What is fun? I desire more fun in my life. And I'm not talking about ripping and running, jumping on, I love, as much as I love traveling, and that is fun to me, but I don't want to travel to run away from anything. I just want to have fun in the present moment, even where I'm at right now. Like, I just want to have fun, just doing little things in my life to add that pleasure and joy in my life. And so I said, you know what, this summer for me is going to be truly different. I said I was not going to be traveling as much as I want to see my family. My family, they going through their own transitions. My brother and his wife, they're, bought a new home. So they, got a lot of stuff going on, selling their old home, got to move into their new home. It's just so many transitions going on. And I was just talking to my mom and I'm like, I can't come home and I miss my family. But, it just made me realize that God does everything so strategic and so well. And I said, you know what? This is the perfect time to focus on my writing, because I'm working on a book project. This is the best time to not procrastinate. I can work on that and don't feel rushed, and I can get it done, and I can just enjoy the process of my writing and getting it done, and not trying to rush to a deadline. Not trying to rush to a deadline, but just enjoying the moment. And I think when we do less and live more, we get to enjoy the moments because we're slowing down instead of saying, oh, I got a deadline. There's nothing wrong with having deadlines. There's nothing wrong with plans, but being flexible and open to how you get to that destination. We sometimes want to rush through the journey and rush through the process of the journey and hurry up and get to the destination. But I truly believe that in the journey, we are transformed, we are renewed, we are reinvented, and we become new people in order to be able to appreciate the destination, because to me, the destination becomes our fulfilled destiny. And so summertime is the best time to do less and live more. And it requires us to realize how abundant life is, how beautiful life is, and how opulent life really is. And I feel like summer teaches us how to fall in love with our life, the people in our lives, and with ourselves. And I feel like when we begin to fall in love with ourselves and with the life that we have, life becomes a lot more pleasurable. We don't talk about pleasure and enjoyment and fun enough in America. To me, we don't talk about those words. We talk about working hard, success, and being on top. And none of those things are wrong. But I think it's important that this summer that you take the time to step back. If you already made plans to travel, great. But make sure when you do travel that wherever you're going, that you're not trying to go every place on your itinerary, that you be flexible and open to how each day is going to flow, and that you really enjoying the moment. If you're traveling back abroad, I know living internationally, those were the best times of my life. And I'm definitely going back. I got my passport ready to go, but when you go abroad, that is the best time to really let go of the selfies and taking a whole bunch of pictures. Not saying not to take pictures. You can take pictures, but when you're in the moment, to enjoy the beauty, because living internationally and being in a different country, it just brings about a different type of beauty. Even if you travel to another state or another sub city in your state, there's different beauty everywhere. But if you're not fully present in the moment, you're so focusing on doing more and living less, you will miss out on that moment and you won't have that memory. So I just think it's important. And another thing about summer and this doing less and living more is it makes you leave the stress behind you. You are thinking like the things that you were stressing over was not as important as you thought they were, that they can be worked out. There's going to be solutions that come. And most of the time, your solutions come in your life is when you relax and when you kind of step back, relax, do less, and you start enjoying life a little bit more, then things start flowing to you a little bit better. For example, for me, I know when I'm trying to force my writing, the words don't flow, things don't come. So I have to step back, and I'm telling you, I could be driving or I could be doing something in the middle of, grocery shopping or whatever, out and about, and words just start flowing through my head. So when I get back in the car, I have my little notepad on my phone, and I have so many notes of different stories of different books and just different things. I won't have a journal on hand, but I have my phone. So I have the little notepad, and it works wonders for anybody that's a writer out there. And I just start, typing up some stuff on my phone, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I just came up with this idea, or this idea just came in my head. The words just start flowing. I hear character voices or whatever is starting to be planted in the foundation, whether it's a story, whether it's a blog post or whatever that's going to come about. My writing flow better when I'm doing less and living more. So with that said, I believe this summer, be intentional. That's the key word. Be intentional about adding some pleasure to your life, some fun, relaxation, and some rest. And I'm not talking about taking a nap. If that's what you want to do it. But rest is so much deeper than that. And this is the greatest time to do that. And I know I said, for me, I truly want to write more, travel less, and just really travel to unknown territories. It's been places I haven't even went that's right in my area, in the state that I'm in. I'm like, oh my God, because I live here in South Carolina, and I'm like, I only been to Myrtle Beach one time. That's crazy, in the last 13 years that I lived here. And I know the transition will come sooner than later where I am leaving here, because I know this is not the place I want to stay. Like I said before in other podcasts, it's not for me. Literally, it's not the state I want to live in forever. Not at all. But while I'm here, I can embrace the beauty and see the beauty and just kind of do things differently. So I wanted to give you all a few ways to implement this concept of doing less and living more in your everyday life. So I'm just giving you a few ways that you can do less and live more in your everyday life. Number one, let go of the stress. When you let go of what you cannot control and what you have no really control over, that is going to help you to embrace where you are in the present moment. And if you can't do anything about external things that's happening, you can figure out what you can do about the things that you can handle. And I think it's great to create a solution list. Create a small solution list. Maybe I say I'm a odd number type of girl. So I say create 3 to 5 things, and not to even overwhelm yourself. Create 3 things. When I create a list, I try not to go past 3. Because when I do like 4 or 5, meaning if I'm making a list on some pros and cons, I try to, if I do between, 5 to 10 things, I try to narrow down my list to about 3 to 5 things, because then it helps me clear out the things that really don't even matter. So I think that's important when you feel stressed or that you have stress, because we all going to have stress in our life. But it's important to let that stress go, especially if you can't control the external things that's going on. You slow down, just accept where you are at right now and create a solution list. Number 2, prioritize fun. And I talked about that already. It is so important that you prioritize fun on your schedule. Things that are going to spark a joy in your life, things that you really want to do. It's so funny. We always create and put things on our calendar, things that we really don't want to do. Yes, and true enough, some things do have to just get done. But I think it's so important that we put on our calendar things that we really want to do. And I feel like we rarely schedule in fun. I know I don't. I told myself for this summer, I don't want to rush through this summer and not schedule in fun. So I am challenging you all to make a weekly goal to schedule some fun into your schedule and into your calendar for this summer. Number 3, balance your work and personal life. I believe it's so important to set boundaries between your work and personal life, because sometimes those two things can get intertwined. And when you create a balance between your work and personal life, I believe things flow better in your life. For example, say if you are always working late and you promise your loved ones that you're going to be home at this certain time so you can enjoy their company, or just even if you're, don't have anybody waiting at home for you, it's just your own little personal time. Say if you want to go to a movie, but you always saying yes to overtime. You always going far and beyond at your job to work hard and to be that success. I believe there is a timing where you have to set boundaries for yourself, because fun will never be on your schedule or in your calendar if you're always just on our autopilot, working hard, doing, and never setting boundaries for yourself. We talk about setting boundaries for others, but I think it's also important to set boundaries for yourself so you can live the most healthiest version of your life and the best version of yourself. So it's okay to say no. And I think it's important. Don't be scared to say no to your boss about working overtime, or don't be scared to say no to other people, family members, friends, and don't be scared to say no to yourself. I know for me, I used to always spread myself thin and say yes to everybody, yes to everything. I'm going to be there for you. I got this for you. And I had to stop that. Even with my daughter, I'm learning, because she's evolving. She's getting older, and, I'm just, molding and preparing her for the adult world and life and everything. That doesn't stop as a parent. My role changes and shifts as from a parent to a mentor and to other things. However, I am even learning to say no to her when I don't feel like doing stuff. I used to feel guilty, like, no, I just need to get over it. I need to do this for her. But I'm not a clown. I don't have to entertain my daughter. She's old enough to do, find her own way. And I'm learning to kind of step back as a parent. This is a new role for me, but I'm shifting. And in my shifting, I'm learning, I'm taking on a new role because she's going into young adulthood. So I have to take on a new role and let her figure out some things for herself. The things that we used to do together, she don't even want to do with me anymore. And that's kind of like, okay, cool. But it's different. It's different. It's not a sad thing. It's just a transition for me. And because she told me, well, you want to do this. That's not what I want to do. And I said, wow. That's the truth, because I like certain things. She likes certain things. So there's a shift even in our relationship. So I'm even learning to set boundaries with her. She's learning to speak up and set boundaries with me so we can have a healthy mother and daughter relationship. So I just think these 3 things are important. And I'm just going to repeat them again. In order for you to do less and live more, these 3 that you can implement in your life: let go of the stress, prioritize fun, and balance your work and personal life. And you can always go to the Inspirational Corner blog. It's www.theinspirationalcorner.net, and kind of read over each episode that I put out. And you could take notes. It'll help you take notes. So you can always get the episodes, the read-only episodes, to take notes on my blog. Okay, everyone? I hope you truly enjoyed this episode. I truly enjoyed talking to you, and giving you some tips on how to do less and live more. And after this episode, we have one more episode that will be done before I just take a break for the summer into the fall. So season 1 will come to an end next week. One more episode I'll put out, and then we won't be back, or I won't be back until the fall season. Season 2 will be up for the fall season with new episodes for you. So until next Thursday, you all have a beautiful, blessed weekend. Enjoy yourself. Prepare yourself for this summer. And like I said, encourage yourself to do less and live more. Have a beautiful, great weekend, everyone.